throughout the enterprise. His efforts are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit on the Chaplain Corps, the United States Army Environmental Command, the Installation Management Command, and the United States Army. Sergeant Gawf will now receive his his certificate of retirement. It reads, Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that Sergeant First Class Gawf, having served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the United States Army on the first day of August 2022. Signed, James C. McConville, General of the United States Army, Chief of Staff. Sergeant Gawf will now receive the Chief of Chaplain's retirement letter and Chaplain Corps retirement pin. Sergeant Gawf is being presented with the Order of St. Martin of Tours Award. The Honorable Order of St. Martin of Tours is reserved for chaplains and religious affairs specialists who have demonstrated the highest standards of integrity and moral character, displayed an outstanding degree of professional competence, selflessly served soldiers, DA civilians, and their families, and contributed to the promotion of the Army chaplaincy. Sergeant Gawf is receiving several flags today. Each one has its own unique meaning to him. The one he is receiving now from Sergeant Major Clark and Chaplain Zell was flown in his honor over the Capitol on 31 March 2022 as certified by the architect to the Capitol, Mr. J. Brett Blandon. At this time, we would like to ask Sarah to come forward and join your husband. Sarah is now receiving a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Staff of the Army, General McConville. A certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Chaplains, thanking her for her faithful support to her husband and the Chaplain Corps. And will also be presented with a Chaplain Corps necklace. Sarah is also receiving the Yellow Rose of Texas, signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The Commission of the Yellow Rose of Texas is a 64-year-old honorary commission conferred by the Governor of Texas in recognition of exceptional Texas women who have served their communities in various ways, including volunteerism and achievements related to the preservation of the history of Texas and its communities by improving the present and building our future. The Gawf children, Kyle, Jasmine, Jaden, Brennan, and Ashlyn, will now receive a special certificate expressing heartfelt appreciation from Chaplain Zell and Sergeant Major Clark. The certificates read, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your sacrifice and demonstrated devotion and support of your father during these many years of service to our nation. Your nation has asked a great deal of you, and you responded with love and devotion. Words cannot begin to express our gratitude. This certificate is offered as a token of our appreciation for all you have done and will continue to do for our nation. Your commitment to excellence reflects great credit upon you, the Installation Management Command, the U.S. Army Chaplain Corps, and the United States Army. Signed, David S. Clark, MCOM Chaplain Sergeant Major, and Michael T. Sell, Command Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Major Clark.
All right. Those of us over 40 know what this is about. Large print too. This is not going to be short because I like this. So I'm going to talk about it. First of all, I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Thanks for coming. Chaplain Zell, Command Sergeant Major Senate Diaz, Sergeant Major Reuter, Sergeant Major Wright, distinguished guests, visitors, friends, but most importantly, Sergeant First Class Gawf Stan. Sarah, Kyle, Jasmine, Jaden, Brennan, Ashley, welcome to today's retirement ceremony in honor of your soul. It's a pleasure to have you here, and it's also a pleasure for me to be asked to speak for you. This is a testament to your love and support for him. Look at all this family. That's awesome. That's incredibly awesome. I have to admit, I have mixed emotions about you retiring. Over the last year and a half, you and I have spoken about many of the shared struggles we've had balancing our lives: health, family, career, faith, among other things. I've personally grown closer to you as I've gotten to know you better, and I truly value your respect on very many things. I first met Sergeant First Class Gawf in late 2012 when I arrived at the U.S. Army Chaplain School in Jackson, South Carolina. And the CSM at the time is in the room. Sergeant Major Senate Diaz. Thank you for letting us serve under your leadership, Sergeant Major. I was a Sergeant First Class at the time, and I didn't want to be there. I was assigned to work in CDID, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's Capabilities Development and Integration Directorate. In layman's terms, it's a fancy name for idea people. We come up with cool ideas and figure out how to implement them in the Army way into the future. So that's what I was doing. Sergeant Gawf was an instructor, and he did a number of instructing jobs, but at the time he was an instructor at the chaplain school. And we had great months of NCOs there. And one day we came up with an idea together. That's dangerous when NCOs come up with ideas, but this was a good one. We decided that daily we were going to do push-up pyramids because we needed to improve our push-ups for the APLT. Some of us were just making it, some of us were doing great, but we all needed some improvement. So at Sergeant Gawf, who worked on the other side of the chapel, not the chapel, but the school, would come and participate. Some days he'd be too busy to come and join us, and this started to happen too often. Okay, and so one of our NCOs coined the term. What was it? The golf cart. The golf cart. He would play the golf cart, right? And the golf cart, briefly explained, you probably already know what it is, but could be played at any time to effectively leverage any excuse for not doing push-ups with us. Of course, he was extremely busy working his butt off in a shop that he had very little support in. And we know you were working your butt off, and I appreciate your work. So I bring that up as a joke, but also you were busy, you're doing hard work, the chaplaincy. This is a testament to who Sergeant Gawf is. Not that he plays the golf cart, but that he chooses to do the right thing. And although much appreciated and more than earned, he does not seek recognition. Sergeant Gawf gets satisfaction from a job well done. He's a consummate professional who attacks every single task with the will and intent to complete it on time and and well above established standards. I believe that God puts people in our lives for a reason. Sometimes it's to teach us a lesson. Sometimes it's to show us humility. Sometimes they're there for us to learn what not to do. Also, sometimes it's so we can have some good war stories. I know we all have a number of those. Sometimes it's for sage advice. And lastly, sometimes it is for a symbiotic relationship where we learn from and support each other. For me, start first class, Gawf is the letter. I like to think I taught him a few things and offered some good advice. And he would lie in my favor and tell you what I did as well. But he easily taught me as much as I taught him. Shortly after I arrived at MCOM, another war story, Sergeant Gawf came into my office and presented a well laid out plan and a logical explanation as to why he not only doesn't want to have a retirement ceremony, but also that we shouldn't make a big deal out of him leaving. He confidently described how he was just going to sign out and go on his way. How do you think the rest of that conversation? We're here. You know how it is. In short, if I remember correctly what happened, I said something to the effect of, shut the door and sit down, we need to talk. We spoke of tradition, we spoke of honoring his family, we spoke of transition, but most importantly, we spoke of the fact that he is worthy to be recognized. We don't just walk away with our head hanging low. Be proud of the services you performed. It was exceptional. You've done your part. You've earned every accolade we've given you, and will give you after this. Here I am going off script. It's cool. 21 years of honorable service to your nation. You aren't going to just sign out. Not having that. It's not happening. For a man who doesn't seek recognition, we certainly are loading you up with it today. And it's well deserved. When I was writing down ideas of what to talk about today, I was a little torn. I was going to do a rundown of Sergeant Gawf's assignments, that's the traditional thing, and his accomplishments. But that's not what I value him for. Yes, he has 30 months of deployed time. Yes, he has a master's degree and a ton of awards that I could list off. That's not why I love him. Sergeant Gawf has earned my respect, not only professionally, but as a husband and a father. For me, faith and family are number one. Nothing comes before that. And Sergeant Gawf has no shortage of you. Some of you know this, some of you may not. And Sergeant Gawf might be upset with me sharing this, but I don't care. This is my time. Sergeant Gawf values his family so much that he chose retirement over promotion. He'd be a master sergeant today if he did not choose to retire. He chose family over the next step in the Army because that's how much he loves his family. I'm in awe of this decision. To put family first. It's easy to say, but much, much harder to actually do. There's nothing more honorable than that. And after 21 years of honorable selfless service to the United States Army, you have earned the right to choose your path. Sergeant Gawf, you're a brilliant man. You'll go very far in whatever profession you pursue. Nothing can stop you but you. Be confident in your abilities and humble in your weaknesses. Always keep learning, get better, and do your best. Do not accept anything less than the best. Sarah, Kyle, Jasmine, Jaden, Brandon, Ashley, you are Jeremy's reason for living. He loves all of you so much. When he and I sit down in my office and have discussions on various topics, the topic always turns to family. And he talks about each of you with such pride. Some of my favorite recent memories has been our cute baby text wars. Usually I start them, and sometimes he'd start them. But either I would send him a picture of my grandson Henry, and everybody in the office knows is awesome, and nobody talks. And he'd send me a picture of Ashley, and we'd respond in comment, right? So I have to say, it always ended like this. We both agreed that they were adorable and some of the most beautiful babies in the world, but ours was just a little more. Of course, we aren't biased at all. The truth is, you have a beautiful family. And I understand why it's hard to focus on anything else with so much awesomeness to come home to. To Sarah and the kids, thank you for lending Jeremy to us and sacrificing so much to support him. The sacrifices families make for their soldier is not lost on me, and we know that most of it goes unnoticed and unrecognized. So thank you. Sergeant Gawf, now's the time for you to start the next chapter in your life. You're being promoted to the highly coveted rank of PFC, Private Freaking Civilian. Now is the time for you to focus on your amazing family. Now is the time to celebrate, embrace, and heal. And trust me, we are all seriously jealous of you. But we're also praying that this new chapter is incredibly fulfilling for you, Sarah, and the children. And that you tick off many of your bucket list items that have been on hold for so many years. Jeremiah 21:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Our time on earth is finite. Nobody ever said in the final moments that they wish to spend more time at work, or answer more email, or make more money. Universally, the regrets of the trauma are related to relationships, family, and forgiveness. All matters of the heart. The Army appreciates your contribution, but we will all be replaced. You, me, Chief of Staff of the Army, Sergeant Major of the Army, Chaplain Zell, all of us will be replaced. In your family, you are irreplaceable. Tend to the matters of your heart. Your future is bright, so don't waste a moment longer than you have to worrying about it. Instead, invest in your legacy. This is your legacy. Talk about it. Invest in your legacy. God bless you and your family. And don't be a stranger. Until we meet again.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. This time, we'll be pleased to hear from Sergeant Major Retired Tyrone Wright.
All right, so, a couple of things. Ashley, Sergeant Major Clark, she was clapping you off this day. She kept clapping, so, listen, what a great day. Thanks, Sergeant. Appreciate you. Good afternoon to each of you, distinguished guests, Chaplain Zell, Sergeant Major, our incoming chaplain team. So happy to be here with you, Sergeant Major Senator Diaz, all of our fellow sergeants majors, our chaplains that are here, and of course, to his office family. Jeremy's a great guy, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but thanks. It's truly a great day. I believe that, especially when it comes to retirement. We truly have a reason to rejoice. The Bible tells us that, right? This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. And so we're glad because we're able to celebrate. It's a momentous occasion to see Sergeant First Class Jeremy Gawf, who we affectionately, my precious wife Jackie and I refer to as our bonus son. And just to speak out loud, thanks Craig and Susan for allowing us to do that for over 21 years. It really means the world to us. Precious grandparents, they're right there, raise your hand. Mr. and Mrs. Gawf, I met them over 21 years ago at Fort Hood. Thank you for being here, and thanks to your personal driver and your granddaughter, Miss Amanda. Thanks for bringing them down. And to Derek, Brenda, thanks so much for being here, Jeremy's father, and everyone else again, thank you. Jackie and I know that you're very proud of Jeremy, his accomplishments as a professional soldier, as a non-commissioned officer, and for his service to our nation. You know, I was talking to Susan, Jeremy's mother, and she was just about to cry. She was really worried about me coming in the Army. Of course, when he came to me, I was worried too. Why did they say that? It was a time where young men and women were still raising their hands, as Karen said. That's not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country during 9/11? And many of them, like Jeremy, they still raise their hands, and they did. But it was over 21 years ago where I met this young man, Jeremy. He showed up at Fort Hood, the great place, is what we called it. He was standing tall, he was lean, he was fit, looking good, and get this, he was thinking he was the greatest soldier in 13th Corps Support Command, or COSCOM. I'll even go any further. He was the greatest soldier at Fort Hood, which happens to be the second largest installation in the United States Army. So that's Jeremy. We know how he is. But he came to me. He was this redhead kid with hazel eyes, and again, he thought he looked good. I'll keep saying that for a little while, Sarah. You'll get it. And that's probably why you caught him. But indeed, he was physically fit. So Jeremy, he was a brand new private who was motivated and ready to serve. Not only serve God, but to serve soldiers, our prized possessions, our prized credentials, if you will, and their families. And he did that well. On day one, my charge to him, like my mentor told me, and Sergeant Major Senator Diaz would remember this, hit the ground running. It was from Sergeant Major Lennon. Everywhere I went, or if I worked for him, he said, all I need you to do is hit the ground running. And that's what I told him. And again, Susan and Ray, you could probably attest to this. He always has to ask a question. He can't just do anything. Go clean your room, Jerry. Well, wow, Mom, I don't know. Well, I said, hit the ground running. He said, well, what does that really mean? I said, in the days to come, I'll teach you what that means. And those were the days ahead where we had so much mentorship training, UMT training, obstacles, just things that mentally and physically challenged not just him, but me. And Jeremy became a sponge. Anyone that works with him, you know that he will just take it all in, he'll digest it, and then he'll just actually go out and do that mission or do the job. But in other words, he was always ready to accomplish the task, always ready to accomplish the mission with a great deal of accuracy, a great deal of dignity, and a great deal of pride. At the time, he also thought of himself as a stud. So I think many of you know that too. He probably still thinks he's a stud, so he may get out one day and try to run me, and I'm sure he'll do that. I'll call Sergeant Major Senator Diaz and she'll take care of it for me. But he thought himself, he was really physically fit, and so I challenged him every day. I can remember this one time. We started PT early in the morning, like his first week. I smoked him. Push-ups, sit-ups, bottoms up. And then after that, we went on a 5-mile run almost every day to 4th Infantry Division, and he still talks about it today. I was conditioning him to become that great leader that he really became in the Army. And I tell you what, I won't regret one day of it. But I remember those days, Jeremy. I remember how that you were just that influence to so many other younger soldiers until you became an NCO. And I can only think today, what were you saying when I ran you to 4th Infantry Division? I don't even want to imagine that. But you became the soldier that every NCO would love to have in their ranks. He became that. He stood tall. He served as a team player. Always went the extra mile and didn't mind, again, learning and sucking things in. That is why he became a great NCO leader. A leader of soldiers who always practiced values that he learned, not just in the Army, but he learned starting at home. Those values that we call leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, self-service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. That didn't just start in the Army, that started at home. And I want to salute you and say thanks so much for what you've done to bring this guy to us. And you've lent him to us for so many years, 2 decades to be exact. But Jeremy learned those, and for all of those 2 decades, he's been a consummate professional that has placed the needs of soldiers above his own, placed his family above his own needs. He's been able to do that, and I can truly say that he exemplifies the words of our NCO creed. which states that no one's more professional than I. I'm a non-commissioned officer, a leader soldier. And as a non-commissioned officer, I realize that I'm a member of a time-honored corps, which is known as the backbone of the Army. That's Jeremy. He stands and he leads as a quiet professional that so many emulate. It is with great pride, son, that I publicly say to you that you've always been an integral part of the non-commissioned officer corps. Your legacy will truly live on. It's not going to end today. All those soldiers you trained in SFC at the chaplain school where we actually began, where our institution is, they're going to carry on those and practice those principles and concepts that you taught for years to come. So your legacy will live on, and I'm so grateful for that. It's going to live through you and those who you've mentored and those who you've led. To his precious wife, our daughter, Sarah, thank you. The children, Kyle, Jasmine, Jade, Brennan, and our most recent precious grandchildren, Ashlyn. It takes so much. It takes a special super family to support men and women that are part of the service, in all of our services. But we're grateful to you. Let's just give this truly, we know, we recognize the sacrifice that families make during these special times, and we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Finally, what a great end to the military career. Proud of you, very proud of you, your accomplishment. You served with honor, you served with dignity, distinction, from Prodigy 1 to Sergeant First Class E7, and as Sergeant Major Clark has said, you're leaving, but you're already necessary. What an accomplishment. Along with your family and your friends that's witnessing this special occasion today, Jackie and I share in your joy. We're happy for you. Congratulations on your retirement. Welcome to the next chapter of your life. This is where it begins. As I said to you over 20 years ago, when you came to me, Sergeant Major Clark said, you have a bright future. So it doesn't stop here. Your future continues. You finish this chapter strong. And it's not any of us sitting here today. We're not just saying, okay, today is the 22nd or 23rd of April. Well, no, we're saying well done. So thank you for over 2 decades of honorable, admirable, and faithful service. It's all about you. Forget you. Forget everybody from God. Go!
Thank you, Sergeant Major, for those words. Much appreciated. This is halftime. If anybody needs to stretch before we continue, feel free to do so. We have a little bit more to do today. We'd like to ask our Gawf, Mr. Swingler, to come forward. As our Gawf receives some very unique gifts that we are fairly certain are unique to retiring religious support personnel from our office. Before Mr. Swingler presents the office gifts, Chaplain Cornell, Chaplain Pickles, and Ms. Melissa Kapoor, also from our office, has some gifts to present.
Well, nobody, you need this, one of this. And also, women, you know, your stuff in there. And nobody retired and go to the VA. We have, so that's what we got to, and include your names. Also, so this is my present to you, and you have some little things for me too.
All right. So what I have, and I'm going to say a couple words before I start to give him some stuff. Just because for Sergeant Gawf, whenever I came in, and I love that Sergeant Dial is here too, because you don't know in the office, whenever somebody leaves, the next person in always has the other name. So the first 6 months, I would call Sergeant Gawf Sergeant Dial. And he, for the first week, he was like, I'll take it. You know, I don't know this chaplain yet, I'll just take it. And after that, he's like, I'm Gawf. I'm Gawf, right? So that's not the only thing that started off our time. So anytime that I would go around the corner to his cubicle, and he actually started up front, and I've never seen anybody move so fast whenever a cubicle in the back of the office happened and opened up. He started up front, so I'd walk in, that would be my normal routine, I'd stop in and see him, but I would see all kinds of Oklahoma Sooners stuff. And I come from Oklahoma, I spent a lot of time there, I was a Cowboys fan. Hopes, right? Yeah. And so there was always that little jab. And this really hurt me to be able to go buy something that was in the Sooner side of the house. But he bought this nice truck. If you haven't seen it, you have to go out, right? It's a nice truck and you can't miss it because of his license plate. It says Sooners. But he's missing some other swag. So what I got him is the Sooner edition to go along with that truck. So he can stick that on the back as he's rolling out. And it's a little bling for his tires, the Sooners little patch for his tires, so that he can go out with that. Awesome. So those are the gifts, but then the final thing is this man loves music. So I got to have a chance to spend time with him, not just behind the office, but out and about. And I just appreciate all the times that we have spent together, not just in the office, but out in the office. The time we went to that concert and had a great time sitting outdoor concert. It was cold, but we were okay. So I really appreciate that. And there's been no other person that has met me at Starbucks at 5 in the morning to complete a task for the boss because we couldn't understand what was going on. And we said, we can do this. Let's meet at Starbucks and get it done. So fully caffeinated and ready to go. Brother, I'm going to miss you, and I appreciate all that you've done for us and the friendship that we have. So as you go on, you're still friends.
So Jerry, the moment I walked into your office space when I got here and saw Oklahoma paraphernalia all over your office, I knew we were going to get along. And we are just so grateful for your faithful service to our country and doing it all about keeping the faith. Be an example for others to do that. And so we are blessed. Tom's blessed. The chaplain, of course, blessed. The entire army is blessed for everything that you've done for God and country. And thank you for the service. So this here was an assignment given to a current sophomore at the University of Oklahoma. And his task was to go out there and find something that an Oklahoma fan who already has everything doesn't have this. And so I hope you did a good job. But this is the game of the century, the 50th anniversary of Oklahoma Sooners against Nebraska. And it's listed, of course, all the national championships, all of the bowl championships. And so I hope you're able to display this proudly in your man cave. That would be
Retirement happens sooner or later.
The Nebraska fans here. Our income chaplain deputy, Mr. Swingler, is presenting large frames containing copies, as we want to preserve the originals for Sergeant Gawf of letters from Presidents Carter, Bush, Clinton, and Biden. Also included in this frame are letters and certificates from the San Antonio mayor, from Senator Cruz, and a tri-signed letter from the Sergeant Major of the Army, Chief of Staff of the Army, and Secretary of the Army. Since Sergeant Gawf had made it clear that he loves Texas and plans to make the Lone Star State his permanent home, the governor wanted to congratulate him on this momentous occasion by giving him this beautiful certificate and accepting him as an honorary admiral in the Texas Navy. Wait, what? Texas Navy, you ask? Well, sort of. Once upon a time, that is. It goes like this. Being an admiral in the Texas Navy is an honorary status, so you can't go bossing around real sailors, and you certainly won't get a paycheck with extra zeros on it. And that's okay, because the purpose of this honorary title is to propagate historical knowledge about the Texas Navy, which did in fact play a role in the Revolution of Texas for Mexico. This resulted in the Republic of Texas being formed as a sovereign nation, which lasted until 1846, when Texas and your Navy were absorbed into the Union. Congratulations. As a token of appreciation from the entire religious support office here in the county headquarters, Mr. Swingler is presenting Sergeant Gawf with 2 items of appreciation that we hope reflect our appreciation for his work on our staff and throughout his entire career.
As folks retire, we try to find out something unique about their background, maybe surprise them with something that they weren't expecting. The first of the 2 gifts is one of them that he mentioned, but I don't think he really thought that we'd reach out and try. He had mentioned a book from John Eldridge called Wild at Heart. He said this meant a lot to him, so we reached out to the author, and he was more than happy to inscribe it and congratulate Sergeant Gawf on his service and for your wild heart. So this is from the author, John Eldridge. And lastly, we did have a little bit of a struggle because we had competing ideas about what would be the most meaningful gift from the entire religious support office. We went back and forth between 3 different items, but we settled on this, and thank you, Sarah, for your help. But this is a picture which I'm sure almost everybody in here will recognize. This is a print of George Washington, the prayer at Valley Forge.
Right, Sergeant Gawf will now present his lovely bride Sarah with a bouquet of flowers, honoring her for her support. He's also presenting bouquets of flowers to daughters Jasmine and Ashley. And I'm sure Ashley really appreciates that. And he's presenting mementos to sons Kyle, Jaden, Brennan. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated as the flag of the United States of America is folded and presented to Sergeant First Class Gawf. Ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting honor is a canton of blue containing the stars representing the states our veterans served in uniform. The canton filled with blue dresses from left to right and is inverted when draped as a pall on the casket of a veteran who has served our country in uniform. In the armed forces of the United States, the flag is lowered at the ceremony of retreat and folded in a triangle fold and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out at the ceremony of reveille and revel as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. will add significance to this flag by placing into each fold the ranks Sergeant Gawf has held during his Army career. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks who gave a portion of his life for the defense of our country and to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace, as well as in times of war, for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for whom our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor others for whom the flag is another's day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to fathers, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of a Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies, in their eyes, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represents the emblem of eternity and glorifies, in their eyes, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. The flag is now being presented to Sergeant Gawf and Sergeant Major Clark.
All right. So, like Glenn said, this is probably halftime. I finished the speech this morning. I'm not gonna lie. At the end of it, it was 10 pages. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Sit back, relax, it's gonna be fun. So what I'm just gonna do is, I'm gonna still play out your playbook. I'm gonna start with a quote. John Beverly said, "We all have life-defining moments. They're like open book tests, but we don't know that until we have been examined and it's over." So I was thinking about this quote, I was really thinking of where I wanted to go today. And it's kind of funny that a lot of people that have gone up here have already mentioned things about chapters in life. Because I found the quote, it made me think that life is like a book. Each milestone being a chapter, and the pages consist of our daily trials, disappointments, stress, frustrations, joys, happiness, encouragements, enlightenments, peace, blessings, relief, and love. Our preschool years, that consists of a chapter. Here is where we find things that most of us learn before we're 5, how to mentally map our surroundings, navigation. Grandma, I remember riding around, I think I'm 4 or 5, and we were in Texas. It was me, you, Danny, and Papa. And I can't remember what we were doing, we were going somewhere. And we got lost. And I believe I was sitting there saying, "Hey, you gotta go that way." And no one believed me, but in the long run, I was right. It's here at this early stage where we learn to hold a conversation. We learn how to be alone, and we learn how to save. Not this way. We learn good manners overall. We can dress ourselves. We have friends everywhere. Everyone in the world is our best friend. We go to the park, and you introduce this person, "Hey, this is my best friend." So when this chapter is over, it starts our school age years. Oh man, things get real in this chapter. We start school, learn to read, write, math, etc. We learn how to take care of ourselves, stay home alone, drive. To this day, I still only got 1 ticket. We start dating, planning our future, graduating, prepare to move out of the nest. Found it funny that when I moved out of the nest got bigger. And so that brings us to the next chapter, which really starts the journey and the big challenge, and that's adulthood. We learned that the place that we wanted to leave is often the place we miss the most. We learn that family is important. We learn how to be a parent, a spouse, how to have a career, how to manage our finances, how to adult. For me, so many of us in this room, a chapter of our life is the military chapter. So retirement from the service is a closing of chapter. This begins a new chapter. The unknown. It might be starting a new career. It might be doing nothing at all. My military career is almost at an end. So please bear with me. I've got a lot of people to thank. Try to keep it short. This is not a complete list, but I would call it the flip notes. So I'm going to start with thanking God. How many times has your child gone astray and returned? But your grace and mercy have always been consistent, even when I'm not. To my parents, thank you for putting up with an awesome kid. Athena, my sister, is not here today. That's a joke. Man. Yeah. I know there are days where I got it completely wrong, but you never get it wrong. And I'm sure I kept it right. Thank you. Love you all. My grandparents. Some of my best childhood memories revolved around getting to spend time with my grandparents. Both sets in different settings and different stages in childhood. From playing cards, from riding on a tractor, building forts, going fishing, and running around town, before Sunday getting donuts. I don't have the best grandparents here. To my aunt and uncles, Aunt Karen, I miss you so much. I know you've been here. You were bright, energetic, funny. I love you. My Uncle Tommy and my Aunt Dana also couldn't be here today. Not because they're no longer with us, but just some COVID-related travel issues. But I'll always remember our adventures in Alaska and the fun times we had. Uncle Tommy, I just asked, how's your other family doing, by the way? Got it? The other family. The other family on the raft? Yeah. Oh, man. Amanda, my favorite cousin. Yes, you caught a king salmon and I didn't. Yes, you skip me every time you can when we're playing cards. Big freaking deal. At the end of the day, I'm a Sooners fan and you're not. Boom, Russell. Enough said. Alright. It's my brothers from another mother's. Tyrone, Jerome, and Josh. Josh, I know you're watching over you daily. And I wish you were here. Not just today, but every day. I drive down I-35 daily, coming back to and from work. And every time I go past Chewy's and Butters, it always reminds me of Joshua. He encourages me to be a better person. Jason, Garrison, brother, you're a rock and one of my closest friends. I know at one point in time I was your leader, but I've learned so much from you, and I thank you for your friendship. Ryan Diggood, Jeremy, Joe Cook, Bobby Seam, Uber Sooner. He's a Longhorns fan. Bobby and I shared a barracks room, and it was interesting, because on one side you had all of you stuff, and on the other side you had all Longhorn stuff. But at the end of the day, I think I had one of them because we had a shower curtain that was a little used, so we had to look at it every day. To Brian Talarico, Andrew Brick, Sergeant First Class Havens, Sergeant First Class Thompson, Doc Johnson in the house. Oh, we had some good times. Crazy. I remember somehow you commandeered a Russian Jeep in Afghanistan. Brought this thing back to life. You had the mechanics work on it. Finally got it up and running. And we'd ride around in this Russian Jeep all over Canada. I remember one day, Doc Johnson comes in and he's like, "Gawf, let's go." I was like, "Okay." Jump in the Jeep. The next thing I know, we're on the other side of the airfield, probably where we should have been. And I said, "Sir, I don't think we should be out here." And I think it went something like this, but it was like, "Oh, shut up. What are they going to do? We'll be fine." And so to my chaplains, Chaplain Hilburn, Chaplain Gold, Chaplain Reiser, Myers, Chaplain Crowley, Michigan, Chaplain Hebron, one of my best friends to this day, Chaplain Moore, Chaplain Nelson, my friend. You made me realize that the financial side of the chaplain corps was just as important as all the rest. And you made me realize that in the future in my role. Thank you. Chaplain McCammon, everything I've ever wanted in a battle buddy, serving in Alaska as a garrison RSO command team, was a challenge and was fun. And Chaplain Parks. To my mentors, Sir Bruce Class Jackson, Bruce Snowdale, George Dalrymple, Marva Rogers, Sir Major Senator Diaz. What can I say? You picked me to be on your team. I always heard how cutthroat USACs can be. Everybody's fighting to get to the top, doing what they can, scratching and crawling. Your leadership wasn't like that at all. I honestly felt that at that schoolhouse, we had a team of people that had one goal in mind, and that was to make the schoolhouse better. I never felt like there was any undermining of anybody, any backstabbing going on, and that was a direct reflection of your leadership. I thank you for your friendship. Sorry, I made it rude. Wow. battle buddy from the NCOA. I really think we were the only ALC, SLC group of instructors that were in the same OMS that crossed off. All the other ones just, I don't think they got along at all. But yeah, so LOL emoji. I value all of our conversations over Chick-fil-A. And you taught me how to be a better instructor, a better leader, a better soldier, a better person. You and Sergeant Cindy has both pushed me to get my education. I'll be the first to admit that it took a while, but I think you were the first people I called when I did finally get my master's and told you that although it took a while, I was this promise. So I'm Major Cornett. I remember walking to your office and seeing all the black and yellow, so for those of you who don't know, this is Steelers fan. Thank you for letting me be your garrison RSO NCO. I know that most soldiers, I have the most soldiers under your command at Fort Wayne, right? And I know it took some personal bumps in the road during that time, but thank you for allowing me to be me and walk through those challenges. Sergeant Garrett, my big brother, although he's not here today. One of my best friends. Whenever I see you, it's like we didn't skip a day. It's like we were hanging out just yesterday. We had ambitions of taking over 10th Mountain. I'd say we did that much more. Our goals were to be the division NCOIC and the ops NCOIC. So he would have been the master and I would be the first class. Small dreams for a then staff sergeant and specialist. We walked through this road together. You've had my back the whole time. To all the good times, the Friday and Saturday night formations, reciting the NCO creed in the most challenging of conditions, I miss you, man. To my MWR team, thank you for being here. Veronica, thank you. Thank you for taking pictures. That wasn't here. But thank you for your ability to build. The team of ALPCs that you have, with the likes, the knowledge, the professionalism, all that goes together. From Jerry to Brent to Nicole to Shannon, the crosstalk amongst your team, the willingness to help each other, that's a direct reflection of you. Thank you. All right, my MCOM team, chaplains. Glenn, I think I've known you the longest. 15, 16 years, give or take? Yeah. So Glenn came to Fort Sill when I was a then staff sergeant to do an OIP inspection of the fund. I was terrified. You don't know it, but I prepped for that thing probably 3 weeks out. But it's been an honor and a joy. I can't believe that you got rid of the Corvette before I got a chance to ride in it. But, love you, man. Denise, thank you. You do so much for the office, it's not even funny. Christmas time always makes me laugh. I swear, you come in one day and the office is decorated. You come in the next day, it's even more decorated. I know one of these days you're going to have a live major scene, you and Chaplain Zell's office. And you've already got somebody that has played Jesus. But he's too old for that role, so we might have to find somebody else. Don, one of the best DREs I've ever seen. Great friend, instructor, thank you for lessons with firearms and working with Jake and me at the range. Chaplain Hutzel, no longer with us. Honestly, one of the funniest chaplains I've probably ever served with. Sergeant Gawf. Wait, got it. I'm not playing with you. It happened yesterday. At the rehearsal. Still, a year and a half later, you don't get it. We navigated the office together. You're one of my best friends, even though you're an introvert. Still can't believe I got you and Elle to come out to dinner one time. From moving each other's houses, picking up furniture at Costco, installing water softener systems, surviving a hurricane, and giving me advice to help me navigate the civilian workforce. Thanks for letting me vent and bringing me back down to reality. Thank you, friend. Sergeant Mondale, keep your head up. You're going to be great. Sergeant Chase, the new and improved Sergeant Gawf. I couldn't leave the financial operations in better hands. You've already implemented so many great things. I should have thought. Chaplain Santiano, duck. Some of you get it. Melissa, 8 years, give or take. Literally have traveled the world with that woman. We have gone to Germany and shopped at Christmas markets. We've gone to the beaches in Hawaii, and even a trip to Texarkana. That is some back roads country there, I promise you. It's been an honor working with you. Gary Pinion, wise, educated, experienced, mentor. All these words describe who you are, my friend. It's been an honor getting to know you. You're my cubicle battle buddy. Getting to talk to you about contracts, projects, Popeyes. You, sir, have lived an incredible life. All the jobs and roles I've had. It's amazing when I talk to you, sir. Thank you. All right, we're into the home stretch, I promise. Soon to be Sergeant Major Hayden. Bro, I know it wouldn't be without you. I wouldn't be here without you coming to UConn. Crack me up. Questions 22 through 28 apply. Our kids became best friends, and I love how to this day, Brendan and Dan still act as if they didn't speak to me. Ha ha ha, I'm free, you still owe 3+ years. Chaplain Dickens. First off, you have an awesome first name. You can grow a pretty awesome beard. Probably second best in the office. We have a lot in common. Oklahoma, finances. Sir, I've learned so much from you. You're a great friend, boss, overall. And I only hope we could have spent more time working together, where I could have learned so much more from you. Thank you. Mike. I think I've won 1 or 2 games in bowling. Out of, I don't know how many we played. It's been a lot, trust me. But I think I got you chess. I'll carry so many memories of our office, but you, sir, are the true north. You're the constant, you take care of the flock. We have developed a great friendship, and I know we'll carry on even after the military service. Thank you, my friend. Sergeant Major Clark. You would also go into the mentor section, but you fall into DEFCON as well. So I enjoyed our conversations. It's crazy to believe we started at USACs and we're ending at UConn. You got some awesome baby pictures. Yeah. We did share baby pictures. Not even in the office from time to time. Outside when we're on leave. This is good stuff. You made me realize you get to spend your time at home. Sergeant Major mentioned that I came to a crossroad where it's, if I stay in, do I get out? And I think I called Sergeant Major and I was like, hey, I don't know what to do. And he asked me one question. He said, where are you the happiest? And I said, home. He said, well, there's your answer. And after that was like, not even a second thought. I knew what I was doing. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Chaplain Zell, sir, you have been a light in time. It's been an honor working for you. You, sir, have pushed me to be a better NCO, thinker, leader, father, husband. Only after this chapter is written do I finally realize what you were putting me through and why. Sometimes life can deflate us. You, sir, brought back the energy that I was missing for years. I've learned so much from you. It could honestly take me a full day to go into detail of all the lessons I've learned, but don't worry, they're in the memory. Mom, Dad. You adopted me 20 years ago, Fort Hood, Texas. Somehow I knew it would end in Texas. I don't know why. I also knew that we'd end up us being in the same area. From weekly church, Sunday dinners, the good, the bad, the fun, the hard times, It's all been a roller coaster. But we've been on this ride together. You've both seen me through life. You've given me so much hope. And I hope I made you so proud. Dad, I told you 20 years ago that I wanted to be a direct reflection of your leadership, the man that you are. I think I'm getting close. Still have some work. I told you a few months ago that I found my first counseling statement. I went in the garage this morning and tried to look for it. I could not find it, but I am going to get that thing and make a copy and frame it and give it to you. Mom, you're caring, beautiful. Yes, Dad, says you. Strong woman. Thank you for being around. I love you guys. Kyle, man. Growing up, you're an adult. You have so much potential. I hope you see that in yourself, just like me and your mother see. Don't fear growing up. Yes, it's hard, it's scary, but most of all, it's fun. You make me proud. I'm blessed that I get to call you son. Jasmine. Jay Diddy. As that should probably wrap up. Girl, you're going to grow up so fast. Slow down. Enjoy the journey. Because you're not going to be able to. You have such a bright future ahead. I'm so glad that I get to see you. I hope you know how proud of the person I am that you are. And that you become. I think you've grown the most in the last 17 years. Jamie, my firstborn. Son, you put up with this military life longer than anyone else in our family. You've been through 4 moves to deployment that you probably don't remember. Me working sometimes being a priority over being at home. I can't believe how big you get. You're not taller than me yet, so calm down. I know sometimes Dad can be tough, but I'm only tough because I love you, and I want the best for you. And for your brothers and sisters. Brandon, my baby boy. You've been on this journey, and Dad hasn't had to go anywhere. So you've gotten to ride with me through it all. I've gotten to see you grow up and be the little boy that you are. I love you. You're a superstar. I enjoy getting so much to coach your team and see you play soccer. Ashley.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, Texas. Little girl, we are such a blessing to you. You light up the world in the darkest room. Your smile, your laugh, the way you look at me. Yes, everyone, her first word was Dada. And yes, I dreamed that she was going to say that. A little bit earlier in the dream than when she actually did. I dreamed when she was born, she came out and she said, "Hey, Dada." You're so smart. I look at you and I can tell you have so many things that you want to say, you just don't know how to do about it. I love you. And brings to an end with last but not least, my beautiful wife, Sarah, my godsend. You are the love of my life, the pep in my step, my wife for life. Sarah, you saved me. You're exactly what I prayed for. And God answered. You joined me on the tail end of this military career, so it wasn't a full, long experience. But you got a taste of something. Yes, it's crazy. But it can be fun. I'm so blessed that I get to do life with you. You put up with my stupid crazy. You see the good and the bad, sometimes one more than the other. You've been a part of this journey to this point. You know what makes me tick? The things that set me off, what to watch for, around places, and I don't feel comfortable. I love you so, so very much. fill my life with so much joy. You're the best. The best way. The best friend. Everything I do in my life is for you and our kids. Thank you. You're cool. You're cool.
Our next speaker, obviously. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of Old Soldiers Never Die, followed by the Army song, and remain standing for the benediction by Mr. Gary Daniel.
Heavenly Father, we truly appreciate and thank you for Sergeant Gawf and his family. We thank you for the career, the life, the energy, all that was put into this, all the many hardships, victories, all the great things that you've done through him. And Lord, we thank you because you have a great future for him and for what you're going to do through him. And we appreciate that. So Lord, this day, we thank you for everything, and we pray in your wonderful name. Amen.
Thank you all for attending. This concludes the ceremony. If you have time,